Wow, we're at the end of January and I still haven't gotten up my top 10 favorite games of 2012. Sadly, I haven't been able to really play 10 new games this year for various reasons. So this time we're going to do something a little different. It's only going to be 7. So before we slip into February, let's take a look at my top 7 favorite games of 2012. Number 7. New Super Mario Bros. 2. Wow, I really don't have much to say about this game. It's a new Super Mario Bros. Game, so you pretty much know what you're getting. Nintendo really advertised the whole coin rush mode big, like collect as much coins as you can, trying to get in the speedrun crowd, but I'm not really into that. I just like playing the game for fun. The raccoon tail is back, which you could say is its big return if it weren't for the fact you basically had the whole suit in Super Mario Land 3D. I actually do like the golden fire flower. I wish I could get it more often. It's always in one of those stupid random switching power-up boxes. I'm glad the P meter is back, and I do enjoy flying, but, well, not much can be said other than it's just a fun new Super Mario Bros. Game. And I suppose it deserves its spot down here at the bottom. Let's move on to other games. Number 6. Nights into Dreams HD version. Okay, I know I'm cheating for this one. Nights into Dreams came out years ago, I mean generations ago on the Sega Saturn, but I can't help it, this version is just so much better than the original. The video cinematics aren't blurry, the textures look much smoother, the character models, oh the character models, just compare them to the original. They were so blocky and blah, not to mention the improved resolution. Oh, thank goodness they made this game. Listen, I'm a big fan of Nights into Dreams. It's a short game, but it's an incredibly fun game. If you want to learn more about it, you can watch my very old split screen video on the series here. Just know that Nights into Dreams is one of the games I've had the most fun flying around. Well, that and Star Fox. Number 5. One Piece Pirate Warriors. Let's get one thing straight. I am not a fan of the Dynasty Warriors series. Tried it once, wasn't my thing. But I am a huge One Piece fan. I love the show, I love the manga. I've read every chapter. I'm catching up with the anime right now. I enjoy the story and the characters so much. And this game was really just made for the fans. If you're not a fan of One Piece, you're probably gonna hate it. If you're not a fan of Dynasty Warrior, you're probably gonna hate it. But if you are either, you probably will like it. It's just so much fun to play as each of the different Straw Hats and various other characters from the series, and just using all their signature moves to blow away waves of enemies and taking on interesting boss characters that appeared in the show. Yeah, it has problems. It has quite a few problems. The camera can get in your way at times, and the platforming quick time events with Luffy can get extremely tedious, believe me. But if you're a fan, I think you can look past that and enjoy the game for what it is. Not to mention there's multiplayer, and me and my friends have had a blast playing through it. I wish there were more options other than just taking over different territories. But hey, they didn't have to include multiplayer at all, and I'm glad they did. Now, I would say that I'm really anticipating another game related to this, but we'll save that for my next video. Number 4. Sonic 4 Episode 2. It's the number 4 game on this list, and it's got 4 in the title. Convenient. Sonic 4 Episode 1 was, I guess a disappointment. The physics were odd, and the levels weren't that creative. And the boss fights were pretty lame too. It was fun, but there wasn't really anything special about it. I feel they did a much better job with this one, Sonic 4 Episode 2. If you didn't know, Tails is my favorite Sonic character, and I was pretty annoyed that he wasn't in Sonic 4 Episode 1. Thankfully, he's in Sonic 4 Episode 2, and wow, is he so much more useful. Some of you may remember that in Sonic 3, if Tails started flying, Sonic could actually grab a hold and they could fly a little bit. But it wasn't very far, and it was complex to do. So, it was a cool feature, but wasted. Here they actually got it right. With a simple button press, while Tails is flying, Sonic can go directly to Tails and they can fly around for a good amount of time. Heck, it even works underwater. They also added a super spin move that Sonic and Tails can do together. Me and my friend really abuse these team-up moves, and they make the game a lot more enjoyable and different than other Sonic games. It's also probably the best Sonic co-op because before Sonic could leave Tails in the dust and Tails would have to fly back, whereas now it's pretty much whoever is ahead leaves the other in the dust. The camera also zooms out if you get further away from each other, giving you a bit more of a safety net. They fixed the physics and the level designs are a lot more interesting this time. I mean, we've seen snowy levels and factory levels before, but I don't know, they still don't feel like direct rip-offs like they did in Sonic 4 Episode 1. Casino levels just are difficult to make original nowadays. One of the things I love most about Sonic 4 Episode 2 is the boss fights. They're just so well thought out this time round. They were so lazy in Sonic 4 Episode 1, pretty much just repeats of older bosses. But Sonic 4 Episode 2 actually makes fun of the older bosses. For instance, in one level, you reach these totem poles, so you think Robotnik is gonna fly out, do his whole hammer thing like he did in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, shooting arrows out of the totem poles. But no! Robotnik does something completely different. He flies in with a new machine and actually wrecks the totem poles. He's like, screw this, that was a lame boss anyway, I'm not doing that. It just shatters your expectations and I love it. All I have to say is, well done, Sonic. Keep up the good work. And don't go back to Sonic 06 ever again. Number 3. Code of Princess. Oh yeah, it's time for some old school button mashing, street brawling, online co-op goodness. Code of Princess is a beat-em-up for the 3DS created by the original development team of Guardian Heroes for the Sega Saturn. In it, you can play as many characters like the Necromancer Zozo, the Bard Allegro, the giant sword-wielding Princess Solange, and my personal favorite, Allie the Thief. They all have different playing styles like ranged attacks, speed, and overall power. There's even more characters you can play as, but those are the only 4 you can play as in the main story mode. In other modes, you can go through pretty much the same story missions and more with friends either locally or online. Heck, you don't even need friend codes, just set up a room and ask them to come in. You can even set up passwords. It has a pretty interesting combo system, and if enemies gang up on you, there's actually a move that will stun them and give you a burst of power. Sadly, you don't get new moves as you level up, you just increase your stats, but still, you can feel your characters getting stronger as you grow. I wouldn't say it's the strongest story out of all video games. It's pretty much your usual evil person taking over kingdom we must save. It has a twist, but I wouldn't say it's the best twist around. If you enjoyed Guardian Heroes, I guarantee you're going to love this game. Get some friends who have it, go online and have a blast. Number 2. Kid Icarus Uprising. Man, I love this game. So many people complained about the controls, and I admit the controls can be a pain if you're using the stylus. Let me introduce you to a little something called the DS Thumb Strap. This little thingy came out with the original DS. However, Nintendo seemed to abandon the idea pretty soon after the original DS launched, as the DS Lite never came with one. This thing makes Kid Icarus Uprising so much better, because it feels like you have a second analog stick. People complain a lot about how the camera works, and yes, it doesn't work like any conventional camera, but if you stay with it, you'll actually get used to it pretty fast. Just like I said, get a thumb strap. You can buy them from Nintendo's website for $5.99. In my opinion, it's the only way to play the game. But that's enough about the people's complaints about the controls. Everything else is stellar. There's so many weapons to be collected, so many weapons to be fused together to make different stats and abilities. Not to mention all the collectibles like the statues, as well as the huge list of achievements which actually gives you stuff. Also, no one complained about the on-rail segments, which are brilliantly done and perfect in every way, I think. Leave something in the comments if you found anything you disliked about the on-rail section. I really enjoyed the on-foot section as well. Once you get the camera under control, it's a lot of fun because it's so fast-paced. Pit is just dodging and fleeing himself across the battlefield and just blasting everything. It just feels so satisfying. Not to mention, there's such a huge assortment of weapons to get good at, like the club, the bow, the gun, the satellites, the list goes on. The Street Pass feature is also really useful because it basically means you're trading your best weapons with other people who are also giving you their best weapons. The hunt for the ultimate weapons in Kid Icarus will go on forever. But the gameplay is just one reason I love it. The characters. Oh, the characters are so much fun, and they break the fourth wall so much. I really wasn't expecting to have that many interesting characters in this game. I was just expecting Pit, Palutena, and Medusa, and not really much else, but there are a lot of characters in this game. Characters that actually change allegiance from story arc to story arc. So one second they might be trying to kill you with killer plants, and the next second they'll be sending in their killer plants to take out one of your big enemies. Also, the voice acting is awesome. I remember during one of the early demos of the game, some game reviewers actually complained that there was so much character dialogue going on the bottom screen, and they had to keep their eyes on the action, and they just couldn't read it all. Thank goodness Nintendo decided to go with the full voice acting for the entire game. It adds so much value. Not to mention, the voice acting just sounds so professional. They did not slack and get some lame voice cast for this. Kid Icarus Uprising is one of my favorite 3DS games. But it is topped by, and the #1 game I enjoyed most in 2012 was Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. I love the Kingdom Hearts series. Way too much, to be honest. Whenever they announce a new Kingdom Hearts, I just have to have it. I'd buy a system for that series. But the sad truth is, the story is not very good. The only Kingdom Hearts game where I truly enjoyed the story was Kingdom Hearts 1. Because it was so simple. Just have to save your friends, that's it. But now it's so convoluted with all the darkness and the light and the hearts and the nobodies mixing up into a big fat ball of mess. However, Dream Drop Distance may be my favorite Kingdom Hearts game ever. Because even though the story is convoluted, the gameplay is amazing. Oh my gosh. I love how they improve the battle mechanics in Birth by Sleep. But here, not only did they take that and run with it, but they've added more. This new movement system that they included called Flow Motion. Have you ever watched like a cinematic from maybe a Final Fantasy game where your character's flying all over and jumping off walls and dashing about and you can't do that in the game? And it's like, oh, my character looks like a badass. I wish I could do that. You can do that in this game. You could jump off walls. You could swing off poles. You can swing around enemies. You can fling them into the air. You can soar into the air. You can grind rails. What is this, Sonic the Hedgehog? But it just makes the game better in so many ways. Because one of the problems I've always had with the Kingdom Hearts series is if you fall off a ledge, it can be difficult to get back up there. Even with the high jump and the glide abilities, if you fall off a ledge, you have to run around, you have to jump back on the ledges and climb your way up to get back to where you were fighting, or to get to a treasure chest or something. In this game, if you fall off a ledge, jump off a wall and leap back up onto that ledge. That's how powerful the flow motion system is. You have total control of where your characters go. Now, this doesn't mean that you'll just be able to go wherever you want at any time. There will be times when there'll be like invisible barriers or locked doors, but if you're in an area, you have full access to that area. You can get up on those ledges and do whatever you want. Sorry, I keep talking about flow motion. It just improves the game so much. Ability-wise and attack-wise, things mostly remain the same as they were in Birth by Sleep. You have several abilities you put into a deck, and after you use an ability, it needs time to recharge. I like this system, and unless they can come up with something that really improves it, I think they should stick with this system in all future Kingdom Hearts games. I also like the Dream Eaters. I do wish you could still team up with some Disney characters, but the Dream Eaters add something new to the series. Basically giving you a nice little Pokemon element. You can change their color, you can feed them, they're like little pets. They even have a nice AR function where you can make them appear in your room and stuff. I really enjoyed raising my Dream Eaters and trying to get the best to put on my team. Not to mention, excluding a few, you get all your abilities by raising your Dream Eaters. So I guess some people could be against that, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was new, I thought it was different for the Kingdom Hearts series, and I hope Square can keep this up. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the Disney Worlds. They're good. I mean, they're just about as good as any other Kingdom Hearts Disney Worlds. One complaint I do have is ever since the original Kingdom Hearts, these worlds always feel empty. You've got a handful of NPCs, but it always feels like you're just in this vast, empty world with just some Heartless or Dream Eaters or whatever they're called. Why not take some time and add in some NPCs, and when the Heartless or whatever show up, the NPCs run away or, heck, even vanish. I mean, it's a video game. We can accept that NPCs will just vanish. If they just took a little bit more time and made some NPCs, I feel like the worlds would feel more alive. Now, this wouldn't necessarily be true for every world. I thought the Fantasia world was very good without NPCs running around. But still, I think it would add more life to the worlds. But look at me going on. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. I tend to rant on this stuff. But yeah, those are the games I enjoyed most in 2012. Now, excuse me, I have to go and do my most anticipated lists of games coming out in 2013. See you later.